Hey, hi everyone. Hey, I thought I'd show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear down this video cassette recorder. I picked it up at a thrift store. I paid $1 for it. It's a heavy sucker. Old school, one of the earlier ones. It's General Electric. Weighs a ton compared to the later model ones. They were pretty lightweight. Now I took out 2 screws here already, but that's as far as I've gone in the tear down. Hey, and let me start out with this. I plan to tear this apart for the pieces in it. I have no plans to run it again or fix it. You got to be extremely careful with electricity, and if you're going to tear something, you're going to take the cover off of anything electrical with the intent of tearing it apart. Make sure it's unplugged. I know that sounds dumb, but you got to be careful around electrical. So make sure it's unplugged. Take your cutters, cut the cord off. Now it's not powered, and you can take the cover off this, tear it apart to your heart's content. Doesn't hurt to have some tools, big cutters, little cutters, maybe needle nose pliers. I just happen to have these around. Little Phillips, little flathead. I have larger Phillips around. I gotta grab it out of the kitchen. Excuse the mess in my work area. It's messy. What can I say? It helps to have a electric portable drill. Remove a lot of screws. You don't have to, but it's just handy. So let's tear into this puppy. Try not to kill ourselves with the tools. I already took the 2 screws out, like I said. I'll slide the cover back a little. Plate. Going on something there. Of course, when I make the video, I don't exactly do it graceful, but you don't have to be too graceful if you're going to tear it apart. So there's some nice metal. You could save that. Throw it in your metal pile. And a lot of cool stuff in here. Start tearing into it. Got a nice motor here, nice motor here. I'm interested in getting the video recording head down here because it has a nice precision bearing in it. So I want to get this little jobber down in there. I get all this stuff out of the way. Maybe I keep these plates and some stuff like that, some of the wire. Pretty much the circuit boards, they're cool to look at, modern art, but they're pretty well useless for anything. But you save them up and mount them on a piece of wood or something, hang them on your wall. I guess that would work. So let's start tearing shit off. I was tearing stuff off of this here. I might have to bleep that word. I need to keep it clean here. Just start. I like when they're Phillips, not those odd screw heads. Oh, hey, here's another safety hint. This VCR, I know it hasn't been plugged in months, but here's a precaution. Anytime you're getting into something that might have had electricity to it lately, we know it's unplugged, okay? But there's parts on these circuit boards that can hold a charge. Capacitors mainly. But using something insulated, a piece of oil, just go and touch it around on the circuit board. And if any capacitor happens to have a charge on it, This will discharge it. As far as I know, could be wrong. But better safe than sorry. Take some more screws out here. Take out enough of the screws. And things just start falling apart. By the way, I've been tearing stuff apart for years. And here's some of the stuff I've collected. It's just some of the little stuff. A lot of cool things for when you're building stuff around your shop, fabricating things. So all the little parts off of here, just toss them in the box. Pretty soon you'll have tons of them. I always liked taking stuff apart as a kid. My mom had this friend, he worked at a old-time printer shop. One time he brings me home this big old printer, and he said, have fun with it. We don't need it no more. Took me days to tear that thing down. And let's put this over here. Some of this stuff you'll wind up throwing away, but the screws, nuts, and bolts, you might as well keep them. They might be odd, but you never know when you might need something. Front plate just pops off. It's pretty well just junk. Toss that in your plastic recycle pile. Excuse my German Shepherds. They just like to talk a lot. There's a nice piece of metal. Nice and thin, easy to drill, easy to bend and machine into something. Fabricate into something. I'm gonna toss that in the keeper box. And you can see what I'm after down here. Video recording head and very precision bearing in here. Because this is like an old-time VCR, this is totally not necessarily overbuilt, but heavy duty compared to the newer, cheaper ones. These things, they put a lot of effort into earlier electronics. They made stuff really heavy duty, not so cheap. Not so throwaway like modern electronics. That wants to come out. Oh yeah, look at all that nice stuff. Little connector right here. This comes apart. Got a nice, let's see. Yeah. You can tell this little DC motor. And it's got 2 wires, so you can pretty much be assured it's not a stepper motor. So you apply DC voltage to it, and you can drive it at variable speed depending on the amount of voltage you put into it. It's no doubt low voltage. Probably start running at maybe about 3 volts, and you can use it up to, I don't know, I'd say safely, 6-8 volts, maybe 12 volts, but I don't like to overdrive anything unless I'm sure that it'll take the higher voltage. Anyhow, a lot of cool little gears on here you could use for your steampunk projects. Little springs and whatnot. For the moment, I'm just going to toss this in the keeper box and pick it apart later. But it's pretty cool. Little motor has a little pulley in there and a little rubber belt going over here to this little pulley right here. A little shaft spins. Got a little spiral gear here, a worm gear, that's the technical word, worm gear. And when this whole thing spins, this slowly rotates around, drives all this stuff. It's all funky, got a lot of grease on it. Anyhow, moving on with this other stuff. Look at all this stuff in here. It's really kind of cool. A lot of doodads. Take some of these circuit boards off here. I might have to process this in the computer and speed it up. I need more light. I apologize if it's kind of dark. I'm just trying to share some of this with you guys. It's kind of cool to tear apart things. Little connector here, little connector there, little connector there. And this goes over here. Connects somewhere here. I'm just going to bend this up to expose it. Yeah, there's the connector. So, there's still one going down here somewhere. I'm not really worried about it, so I'm just going to unconnect it myself. Nice little circuit board if you want some modern art. I probably should have taken that off by removing the screw. Kind of lazy. It's a nice little piece of metal. Keep that. Got the swamp cooler going in the background because it's been like 100 degrees around here in the desert. So excuse the constant noise of the fan, but I'm afraid you kind of need the swamp cooler here in the desert. Flip that up, that up. Lift this puppy off of there. If I was going to repair this or something, obviously I wouldn't be yanking it off so willy-nilly, but I'm not really worried about it, obviously. I think I said that. Obviously.